coming. Thanks for having me. I came a very long way from Prague, Czech Republic, so not that far. Pleasure to be here, all the bright minds. I am from the project called Winding Tree. We operate in travel industry, and I would like to ask you, how many of you have heard about Winding Tree? Okay, wow, thank you very much. How many of you do travel for work, for leisure? Come on, show me your hands. Should be everyone. Like, I wouldn't believe you otherwise. Okay, so we all care about this, okay? Travel industry. I will tell you a secret. Travel industry is very highly monopolized market. It's one of the biggest industries, valued something like $7 trillion worldwide. And there are really a handful of companies that control it, let's say. Some of them are called GDS, mainly in the airline industry. Some of them are called OTA. By the way, GDS, OTA, what does it mean, right? Travel industry, they love shortcuts. It's everywhere. There are many more, and maybe I'll use some. I'm already in it for quite some time, so maybe if I use some shortcut and you don't know what I'm talking about, please just ask me.
What are they? As long as you're at it.
There you are. Thank you. GDS stands for Global Distribution System. Maybe you've heard names Sabre, Amadeus. These are the guys. Galileo, yes. OTA stands for Online Travel Agency, and you have definitely heard Booking.com.
Yeah.
That's them, and that's one of them. That's one of them. Expedia? Okay, highly monopolized market. There should be some disruption, right? Like it always happens. There's monopoly, disruption comes. So where is it? Where the heck? You know Airbnb, right? Are they disrupting the space? Kind of, yes. They are bringing new channels or segments of inventory. So maybe they are a little bit making it wider, but do bookings and all these GDSs care that much? No, even though whatever, they're awesome in some ways. But what about these guys? Google. Are they disrupting the space? Very much, they are. And the big guys are super scared of them. And maybe they will not agree immediately, but when there is a travel conference, travel event, they are always like, and what about Google? Aren't they doing something in travel? And Google always says, no, we don't do much. But of course they do, and you know it because if you have Gmail, you like Google is showing in your calendar lots of stuff about your travels, or if you look at Google Maps, you have totally all the prices of the hotels and stuff. And at some point it will be super simple for them to just switch, right? And then Booking.com is over. It's just no, you're not there anymore. So they are a disruption or a threat for the business or for the established businesses, but they are still the monopoly, right? So we will not win if they take over. What do we need in travel space? Not only there, but what do we need is a decentralized marketplace. That's what we did intense research, and that's what we came up with. We need decentralized marketplace. We need a platform where sellers meet buyers without borders, let's say. And we were figuring out what's necessary for decentralized marketplace. For decentralized marketplace, we need identity. This identity needs to be self-governed. You have to be able to just create your identity without any middleman in space. And one of our projects, one of Winding Tree's projects, is called OrcID, which is this self-sovereign identity. There's a huge and amazing research and work group by W3C. It's not a travel shortcut. Do you know what it stands for? World Wide Web Consortium.
Yeah.
We know it. We do know it. So W3C, they have a decentralized identifier work group, and they specify a standard, and we are like fully compliant with that standard. Well, we work on it to be fully compliant. So this is like the DID column, work ID column, and some address. That's how it works. What else we need for the marketplace? We need some kind of trust. And that's what bookings.coms are offering, right? Like they're showing us this is a hotel and this is the star rating, this is some comments. That's what we need, and we need to build this for our marketplace. And so we are introducing like this concept of like business directories where you can register your work ID. Again, we're using some ideas from W3C because they have this notion of like verifiable credentials. You can think about it as like very simple example is, let's say you have some kind of identity. You have your ID card, right? And you want to enter a bar. In the United States, the legal age is 21. And you want to enter, and they're asking you if you are over 21. And what you have to do now, you have to give them your ID. This person now has like all information about you, so maybe even where you live. Not only if you are over 21, but your exact age, your picture, whatever they can use now. They can take the number of your identity card and maybe like use it later. So like this kind of verifiable credential thing is that you can have a proof that you are over 21, and that's it. And that's what these people need to use. This is kind of thing that we're dealing with. And for this marketplace, you still need to govern it somehow. You still need to control it. You need to like do some changes, updates, make it better. And in travel space, in blockchain space, we have decentralized autonomous organizations, and that's what we're building as well for this decentralized marketplace. As every solid blockchain project, we have an ERC20 token. This token is called Leaf. And like when we introduced it 2 years ago, the stablecoin DAI, do you know it? Do you know MakerDAO? DAI? Yes, everybody? Okay, if not, stablecoins, look it up on Ethereum, amazing project. So let's say stablecoins were not like that awesome 2 years ago, and we're like, okay, maybe we'll create a token that we'll be able to use for payments and travel. Definitely not the best idea. But still, Leaf token is, for us, in our eyes, pretty cool to use. Because right now, you can get some amount of token, you create your identity, and you stake some of the token for this identity. And this will, maybe prove that you are a little bit more trustworthy because you're staking some value under your organization. And because it's quite cheap to set up a smart contract or create identity, you want to somehow control this like spam prevention, and this is our idea how to do it. And because we have a token, and we know Kleros, they are awesome. When I noticed that they have this like token squared or token 2, I'm not sure how is it.
Tell me what happened to you when you first discovered that.
Token curated registries for ERC20 tokens, for Ethereum tokens. And I'm like, I can list Leaf there. Let's do it, it's gonna be fun. I went through the applications of the tokens that are already listed there. I was just like checking, and there were some potentially weird ones, and there were some like already being challenged by this Kleros-CRED. Looking at it, and this challenge was, this token is a scam, so like do not list it or something like that. And I'm thinking, this will be just fine for me because I know our token is okay. I know the address. I know everything about it. We set it up. It's real, it's out there. People are somehow like maybe like buying it, selling it, whatever. Won't be a problem, right? But I have missed one of the important criteria of listing my token. And yes, the token was not listed at the first try. Because there is a criteria that the image size for the token has to be something like 50 times 50 pixels, and I was using some online converter from SVG, and it produced 250 times 250, whatever. So I'm like, okay. I was a little bit sad. On the other hand, it was a great lesson because it was a proof that the system worked, right? And token curated registry as a concept is out there for quite some time, and we were thinking about like using it totally for a long time, but there were always some buts, some problems with it. With Kleros, there is none. It works. So we totally want to use Kleros at least as a start for token curated registries for the segment for the business directories I was mentioning before. And imagine the situation of me being a hotel or even an airline identity, and I want to stake there more and more tokens because I want to prove that I'm the trustworthy organization. But if I'm gonna be putting the tokens there, somebody else from the wild can come, use their Pinakion tokens and challenge me and just like get all of my precious tokens under this identity if I'm not acting right. If I'm acting right, everything is fine. We can do this today, which is awesome, and that's why we are working together on this. This is just a simple diagram, but it's not that simple. So it's in the presentation, maybe you want to check it later. But it is what I was saying. There's some kind of DAO, there's some leaf tokens, some organization, identity, segment directories. Kleros-CRED, the important thing. But really, this is something we're building right now. What can we do in the future? And you've heard everything about Kleros, or a lot of information about Kleros, so you can totally get the idea. And maybe even tell me later what are your ideas, what could be built together, like if we have decentralized travel industry and Kleros. If we all agree that the future is decentralized, which I hope we do, let's say we have a hotel organization, or KID. It is listed in this business directory, token curated registry. We have travel agent. Again, they have OrcID identity. It is also listed in this token curated registry. We have a customer. Any one of us, you all raised hands, that books a room in that hotel. This money, his money, her money, goes to a deposit, escrow. You totally heard about escrow from Kleros as well, right? What if this customer wants to cancel the stay? And the hotel or the travel agent doesn't want to refund. Again, there's a room for Kleros. Kleros for the win. I think this is a bright future that's ahead of us. And this was the simplest example I was able to come up with.
You can even use real example. Because here in Paris, 2 years in a row, we ended up with less beds than what we are supposed to have.
All right.
4 less beds.
All right.
And the money is gone, so
yep.
it's going to be really hard to get the money back. But with an escrow,
yep.
it's so simple.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Actually, the hotel overbooking and airline overbooking it's one of the like super dark secrets of the industry. But yeah, totally should be used. Okay. It was supposed to be a super short presentation. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. If I will not be able to answer it right now, you can look me up. Twitter, windingtree.com. You can email us. Stay in touch. There was a question.
So on the side of organization IDs, is this similar at all to like the use case you've done in Bradstreet's ID system? Like
Sounds pretty cool. Where is it? In the US?
Yes.
It's in the US. Because, for example, I was mentioning the W3C DID standard. I know that in some parts of Canada they are like using the same thing for their business registries. To be honest, I'm not that familiar with what you're saying about. But what I want to say is that this should be like OrcID is this like borderless, like without middleman. In your case, and I don't mean it bad in any way, the government is the middleman, right? Because they are issuing the IDs.
Well, it's a third party that's getting contracted.
All right, but still, right? Here in this like future we're envisioning is you can create your identity whenever you want, even how many of them you want. But what should the government or any other like association do for you? They can just like prove that you are real, but you still do not need it. If there is some communication between businesses where this, for example, there's like in the airline industry, there's this big organization called IATA, and if you want to work with an airline, you have to be IATA accredited. I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but maybe for some of the cases you just don't need it, and maybe it will be just simpler. If I'm just like buying one flight a month or something like that, I don't need this accreditation, right? But we still should be able to communicate. So for some levels, there is definitely a value of like having somebody like big behind your backs. For some level, it's not that important. But yeah, I will definitely talk to you. I wanna know more.
Sounds good.
Cool.
You can also already buy your flights with you right now, so there may be some inroads there.
Ooh, sorry.
A BitSky, you can use a BitSky, you can
Yeah.
buy flights
Yep.
with Ethereum.
Yeah,
Right, so there must
For
be
sure.
some
For sure.
maybe-
But don't forget. There's a difference between just payment for the.
They're just transfer anything.
Exactly.
It's nothing special.
Yeah,
But there
yeah.
is somewhere in the middle ground.
Yeah, totally.
What's the history behind the winning tree name?
Yeah.
We will be having drinks, right? So
Yeah.
let's what a great question.
Some people here are not like crypto, like hardcore. Explain what would look like a decentralized travel industry, like without this intermediary. Like, what is when industry succeeds in this vision?
Okay. Let me say it this way. Right now, when I want to book my hotel, where do I go? I go to booking.com. Probably. Of course, there are some options. I don't want to like even talk about like if these options belong to that company or not. But still, I don't have that many choices. And I have asked you like if you travel. Of course you do. Like imagine the situation that you, and it's I'm a biker, okay? So I ride on a bicycle. So imagine that I'm using this nice community site for cyclists where we share all over the world. We share like good bike rides, and these bike rides can be for a couple of days. It does not have to be just like I go out and work. Well, I go work out. But I just have some kind of, I don't know, like a week-long ride in somewhere around Buenos Aires, right? There's a great town near Buenos Aires called Chivilcoy, and this guy from there is like, or there's this site that is this community site where we share these rides. What if there's a person who would like to make a little bit of money on top of that and just create a simple startup where they will combine this bike routes with some kind of accommodation and even the flight there, for example. And what you definitely want to avoid is like for this to be some kind of local expert and go around the globe to do this. You want to build some kind of simple mashup. You want to just like take this data from this cycling community, and then you want to get some data like from some APIs where I can book the flights, where I can book the hotels. And these APIs do exist, but are again like controlled by these big guys. And that's what we do want to avoid. Like we want to have open source access to not free, of course. Like you have to pay the bills for the servers, but some kind of open source access to data. And that's, in my eyes, is what decentralized and not only travel is. Maybe it was a little bit too deep. But
I like the Chilico example.
Chilico is cool. Whenever you are in Buenos Aires, get a car and go to Chilico. Okay.
Any more questions?
One last one.
Okay.
This is a tough one.
Oh.
So in terms of your ERC20 token,
Yes.
if you could go back, would you still keep a token? And if not, then why so? Like your own custom.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure I've ever got this question, so I really need to think. I would. I think it's like, as I said, in like what we're using it right now for, I'm super happy with that. So yes.
Another question? Okay. Very good.